Hello, everyone. So for Module 1, we are questioning the curriculum and learning about how the American curriculum has developed throughout the years, and also reflecting upon the purpose of schools. Learning objectives of the screencast are to describe the history of American curriculum and especially how has it changed over our lifetime. Define the concept of curriculum, who decides what's in it or included in it, and reflecting upon the purpose of schools. So as I looked at the documents provided in Module 1, a theme that I saw throughout the timeline and the things that I read was that American education really did follow a trend in regards to the population, industrial development, and economic globalization. So the priority has always been, it seems like to me, to prepare students to join the workforce. For example, in the 1700s and 1800s, apprenticeships were the primary form of education, and then after that went away, then there was a bigger need for agriculture workers, so that training was a very big deal in terms of education of the youth. Recently, then there was an agriculture decline, I think, because we would just get most of our crops from Mexico and elsewhere and import them in. So agriculture had a decline there. And now the days that we live in are very technologically driven, so we focus a lot on technology literacy so that our students, when they join the workforce, they are able to work productively in the jobs that they might have, and pretty much all of them. It doesn't matter where you go, you'll have to know how to use technology in one form or another. And then there has been some research done by psychologists and psychiatrists, and thanks to that, we have been able to understand a bit better how human beings learn best. And of course, there's a ton of different philosophies. The ones that speak more to me are Lev Vygotsky and the social cultural theory, as well as Dewey's Education for Democracy. Also, we're more recently moving away, not moving away, but in the past, when I went to school, being a critical thinker was very important. But now that's not enough. Critical thinking, being able to be a critical thinker is not enough. Now our children also need to be innovators and able to be valued in the workforce that they will join once they leave school. And that I learned from previous courses. I read a book. It's called Innovator's Mindset, and so I think that's where curriculum is headed. The concept of curriculum. So curriculum refers to the lessons or what the academic content that is taught in a school to either children or adults. As far as I understand it, government officials decide what we teach, and unfortunately, some of those government officials have never been educators. As I was reading the PDF by Plate, he talks about paleoethic educational system, and how back then they used to teach young people the skills that were needed for them to prosper and also help their tribe prosper. And then I kept reading, and I found a few quotes that really spoke to me. So in addition to bringing the learner into focus, so now we want the curriculum to be more student-centered, what brings the most advantage to the learner rather than what is easier for the teacher to teach, which is a great thing. So, in addition to bringing the learner into focus, this period also saw a new emphasis onto the connection between education and welfare of society. More specifically, Lester Frank Word and later Dewey proclaimed the potential for a school system to create social change. This is directly related to what Dewey wrote about the impact that education can have on social development, as well as on the connections between individuals and social welfare. So Dewey's whole idea, as we all know, was to help children develop into productive, for them to become a productive part of the society that they will join and be good citizens. The author Plate is suggesting that systems-oriented curriculum is designed to overall improve systems of thinking and to revamp our current school system, which has gone through many different crises and seems to always just have shortcomings in terms of when the kids leave school, when the students leave school, what are they able to contribute to society? Are they well prepared to join the workforce? And many times that has not been the case. So the author thinks that a system-oriented curriculum is the most logical next step in the evolution of curriculum in the United States. And then this quote I really loved, so I included it. It's the obligation of those who are responsible for curriculum building to provide opportunities for children, young people, and adults to engage in common task of rebuilding ideas and attitudes so as to make them valid for the purpose of social judgment and action in a period dominated by the complex web of impersonal relations. And then finally, the purpose of schools. I listened to all the TED Talks. There were 2 TED Talks. There was a professor, Michael Young, and then the valedictorian speech, which was so touching, so truthful. I listened to it probably 3 times. It was very impressive and full of truth. So here are a few things of my takeaway with that. I chose to talk about the purpose of schools versus teachers because I think that schools in a large way dictate what us teachers can do and have to do in our classrooms. So I choose to talk about the purpose of schools. So Michael Young points out Finland, which has a phenomenal education system, and he pointed out that they don't look at education as fun and exciting, and that for that to be the major thing that makes their education system so great. What he did say, though, is that people there respect education, and that is something that I feel is lacking in the United States. I had the opportunity to be educated as a child in 2 different countries. I started here in public schools in New York City, and then when I was 10 years old, my family and I moved to Colombia, where my mother's from. And there, people really, really do respect education. And here, it's a bit different. And it all comes down from the parents onto the children. So the purpose of education is to encompass all dimensions of human experience. And this means that we should focus on personal and academic growth of the child, not just the academic growth. Also, we should help them become contributing citizens of a democracy that they will join once they're adults. We should encourage curiosity by being more flexible with due dates, and maybe perhaps even not sending so much homework home so that the children have time to explore other interests, such as sports, dance, music, acting, art. We have to give students the autonomy to take risks every now and then, and not think that, mistakes are a bad thing. We have to inspire our students, not aim to train them. We have to create a more productive, prosperous, mobile, and healthy society. The United States Department of Education states that innovation fuels our way of life and improves our quality of life, and its wellspring is education. We should not stigmatize mistakes, risking creative capacity. So stigmatizing mistakes and expecting everything to be perfect all the time and people to be perfect all the time and act a certain way can hinder creativity. Sir Ken Robinson in his TED Talk said that all children are born artists, but that we are educated out of it. We also must understand, schools must understand, teachers must acknowledge that intelligence is diverse and dynamic. It's diverse because we all have different talents. And some of us are more artistic than others. Some of us like structure more than others. Also, it's dynamic. It's dynamic in that the people that are most successful in the society we live in are able to look at a problem from different points of view and come up with different solutions. And that is it. That to me is the purpose of schools. I really enjoyed Module 1, and thank you for all the information that you have provided. Goodbye.